Hello and welcome to another Here's the Storm Quick Tip. Today I want to talk about some basic May pointers. Um, May, very popular tank at the moment, and while simple enough to play, has a couple of quirks that I find will help you raise your win rate on the hero the more you get used to them. The biggest one is cooldowns. People should not be using all their cooldowns immediately. And this is a good example of I'm using the WE specifically because I know this is a secure kill as long as I do it properly. But not only is Blizzard on cooldown when they're through the bush, but I would only do it once they pass through vision anyway, and I demounted with an auto. The basic rule of thumb is unless you're securing a kill with your cooldowns, you always want to have one button up because each of the buttons gives a useful amount of survivability. Obviously, the trait gives the most out of all of it, but can also be used as an unstoppable if you're looking to position aggressively. The other big thing is Blizzard. I always like to start with Blizzard because it has the highest chance of having the enemies make mistakes, and I want it off cooldown for a second one in the fight if possible. So obviously you can use it for general zone control, especially on something like Braxis, where they're going to keep fighting over this point. In general, if you have a snowblind, what you want to be doing, more so than anything else, is figuring out who best to use it on. So in this case, obviously Tychus, but only when he has minigun up. And Imperius, especially if he lands the spear, because him not being able to follow up the spear or his normal abilities with good basic attacks really makes his damage negligible compared to how hard he normally hits. So even if he lands a spear, if you blind him before he starts basic attacking, you're going to do a lot for your team. And actually, if we back up for 1 second. Nice replay, Blizzard. Very impressive. So we'll speed up. And we'll see our task get stabbed. But you'll see, because he's blinded and he gets a heal from Alex, it's like it practically never happened despite eating a spear. And again, I'm eating forward because I want to secure a kill. The whole point is you want to cycle through these and not just throw them all out instantly. Because a lot of times you'll see a combination of like, they'll go for a demount with Snowblind, throw a W, throw an E out, like from max range, and then all your buttons are down, and you may or may not connect with it. And even if you connect with it, that's it. You're out of the fight until you get one of these buttons up. Because your basic attacks only do so much. Like again, see how ambitious that was and I still held snow? And now I realize, hey, I can't do anything. So I'm just useless, and I'm telling my team that I can't really do anything for them. That's the biggest thing if you have comms. Let them know if you don't have buttons, especially on May. And you'll notice I'm trying to aggressively tank damage for the team and just keep annoying them and keeping them slowed with like heat transfer and basics and shit. And it's what you want to do. And that's a good example of like, I burn too many buttons. And so I have to burn trait. And once you burn trait and it's obvious, it's really easy for people to kill you. Because they set up the silence directly on top of me. I get shot at the last thing. We almost get a counter kill. But it's one of those things where it's like, once you burn all your buttons, you're really at the mercy of your opponents. So unless you're purposely trying to tank all the cooldowns, you really want to keep one button up if possible. Or again, if you're securing a kill, then use all your buttons. And then we kind of just going to speed up because most of this is not super relevant. Like, it's the same thing. You're pushing up, you're doing things. Again, I'm saving blind specifically for Imperius or Tychus, so you'll see me constantly throwing them on there. Fun one there. The Zerg Wave did almost all the damage to that Imperius. He went for about 50% to nothing. Never get caught in the Zerg Wave, especially with the Banelings. You will die immediately. And you can see I'm just stepping up aggressing. And now I'm more likely to throw my blind just wherever, because I'm just trying to keep as much life as I can off this. I go in kind of deep because, again, I have my team here. I still have my trade up no matter what. And again, just a general rule of thumb, always mount inside those bushes when you can. You'll notice how I'm using my ability more as a zone tool here. And again, I'm relying on my team to get a kill, so I'm burning all my cooldowns. In an ideal world, I would have saved one, but because I'm pretty sure we're getting the Gul'dan kill, I use them all. And we end up getting the Tychus and the Gul'dan. And actually, to back up slightly, so you can see I'm looking here, and I'm not even trying to hit him with the ice wall. I'm just trying to block him in to a very specific spot so we can just collapse on him and we have time. So in this case, I'm forcing him to go in a specific direction, and I'm using my E to aggressively go here so I can get in the way and make sure he's stuck down here. So either the whole team has to come down past me, including this Blizzard, to try and help the Gul'dan, or they just have to let him die. And then our Genji and Tassadar just kind of clean up after that. And even Hogger gets in on the action, actually nets the kills. And then after that, once my cooldowns come back up, I'm just going right at him, and I'm being super aggressive. There's one other minor tip I want to give, and for that I need to get to the point in the replay where it actually showcases it. Again, I'm front-loading a lot of cooldowns because I'm aggressively looking for kills. This is when you're going to burn them all. And I'm using Ice Wall as more of a wall than a stun tool because I'm confident in our damage capability if we can isolate someone and not let them retreat, especially because a lot of these heroes are kind of immobile. Obviously, this has a warp, but the other one's not as much. You can just kill them if you get them isolated. Unfortunately, our Gingu dies. And you'll see here, I'm purposely waiting for them so I can just drop a Blizzard. And this is something I want to see more people do, is try not to use your other abilities if you're in out of vision. What you want to do is ideally just drop a Blizzard either directly on you in the bush or directly here or here, wherever you think they're going to go as soon as the Blizzard goes off. And what that does is it forces them to use any mobility options they have. And if they don't have any mobility options, there's a very good chance they get caught in it. You can see there the Gul'dan was kind of confused on where to go. And so move back and forth for a sec. I get caught because I just don't use my crowd freeze in time to block it. But I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm at full health anyway. But that's one of the biggest things. And if you don't have Blizzard up or you don't want to use it, just unmount them with a ranged auto. You're one of the safest bush anchors. You can demount. And all of these things cut off mobility for your opponents. And they all slow. And even Ice Wall. You can drop an Ice Wall basically where you are. And you'll see again, I'm just mounting it up and like anchoring this bush. And that's all I want to do. And it's the same thing. Like, I want to wait. I unmount. I zone them out with that Blizzard. We still don't have kills, so I have to burn more things. Again, using the trays just a basic unstoppable. That was a really bad Ice Wall, but it is what it is. And because I kind of spread out the use of my abilities, Blizzard's already off cooldown, so I can use that for peel. And so that's really it. I just wanted to kind of illustrate those basic tips, which are you want to spread out your cooldowns if possible, unless you're trying to secure a kill or you just need to burn everything to like live in a given situation. If you're in a bush, Ideally, just drop Blizzard on them. Save your other cooldowns for a better moment. You also don't need to necessarily Blizzard them. You can just demount them with your autos and then E out as necessary. You're very good at that, and it's really hard for enemy team to kill you. Especially if they're like that, they're spread out, and only like 2 or 3 are looking in a bush. And then the final thing is, you'll notice a lot in that replay, I am using my tools more for zone control and to set up my teammates' engages. And that's really what you want to do is you don't necessarily need to WE stun them every time to set up an engage. Sometimes just forcing enemies into a very specific area or slowing them for, spraying out your slows so they're slowed for like 2 or 3 seconds is good enough that your teammates can follow up and kill them. Hope that helps, and have a great day.